Have you ever looked at your garden soil and thought, why does it still look so tired? Maybe it feels dry. Maybe it looks pale. Maybe it gets hard after every rain. Maybe weeds seem to grow better than the plants you actually care about. And then you see other gardeners with that beautiful, dark, crumbly soil, the kind that almost looks like chocolate cake. And you wonder, what are they doing that I'm not? Well, here is the surprising truth. You may not need an expensive soil conditioner. You may not need a fancy compost system. You may not even need to dig, turn, or work yourself into exhaustion. The answer might already be sitting in your home right now. Cardboard. Yes, plain old cardboard.
The same cardboard box that came with your delivery. The same cardboard you are probably about to flatten and throw away. Used correctly, it can help you build richer soil, hold moisture longer, reduce weeds, attract worms, and make gardening easier on your body. And the best part? It works quietly. No drama, no heavy lifting, no complicated rules. So today, let's talk about how cardboard can become one of the simplest tools for building healthier, softer, more living soil. Before we begin, if you enjoy simple, low-cost gardening ideas that actually work in real life, make sure to subscribe. Here, we focus on practical garden wisdom that saves effort, saves money, and helps the soil come back to life naturally. Now, let's get into it. When you place cardboard over the soil, you are not just covering the ground. You are creating a protected little world underneath it.
And that protected space is exactly what soil life loves. Healthy soil is not just dirt. It is not just something that holds the plant upright. Healthy soil is alive. It is full of bacteria, fungi, worms, insects, and tiny organisms that work together every single day. They break things down, they open spaces in the soil, they move nutrients around. They help roots grow stronger. They help water stay where plants can use it. And cardboard gives that underground life something very valuable: food and shelter. Cardboard is made mostly from plant fibers. Those fibers break down slowly, which is actually a good thing. Instead of disappearing overnight, the cardboard becomes a steady food source for fungi, bacteria, and worms. At first, it just looks like a flat brown sheet. But underneath the surface, something important begins to happen.
The cardboard softens. Fungal threads start moving through it. Bacteria begin breaking down the smaller fibers. Worms come closer because the soil is cooler, darker, and more comfortable. And little by little, that cardboard turns into something dark, soft, crumbly, and full of life. That is how humus begins to build. Humus is one of the most valuable parts of healthy soil. It helps soil hold water, it stores nutrients, it improves structure. It makes sandy soil less dry and clay soil less sticky and heavy. And when humus increases, plants do not have to struggle as much. Their roots can move more easily. They can find moisture more reliably. They can access nutrients.
This is why cardboard can feel almost magical in the garden. But really, it is not magic. It is biology. You are simply giving nature the right conditions to do what nature already knows how to do. And that is one of the most beautiful things about this method. You are not forcing the soil. You are not fighting it. You are helping it recover. Long before modern gardening products filled store shelves, people understood this idea. Farmers and gardeners used straw, leaves, plant clippings, old plant stems, and fibrous materials to protect and rebuild tired ground. They may not have used scientific words like cellulose, lignin, microbes, or fungal networks, but they understood the result. They saw softer soil. They saw fewer weeds. They saw stronger roots. They saw better harvests.
They understood that exhausted land does not always need to be attacked with tools and chemicals. Sometimes it needs organic matter, moisture, protection, and time. And cardboard fits beautifully into that old wisdom. It gives the soil carbon, it blocks light from weeds, it protects moisture, it creates darkness, it gives worms a comfortable place to work. And for many gardeners, especially older gardeners or anyone who wants a lower effort garden, this is a huge relief. Because, let's be honest, gardening can become physically demanding. Digging is hard, pulling weeds is tiring, turning compost piles is not easy for everyone. Carrying heavy bags of soil or amendments can wear you out quickly. But this method is gentle. You build from the top down. You do not need to dig deeply. You do not need to turn the soil. You do not need to lift anything extremely heavy if you work in small sections. Here is how to do it. Start with plain brown cardboard. The best kind is simple cardboard without glossy coating. Try to avoid shiny printed cardboard if possible. Remove tape, plastic labels, and staples. Then flatten the cardboard and lay it directly on the soil. You do not have to till first. You do not have to remove every single weed. If the weeds are very tall, you can cut them down, but you do not need to pull everything out by the roots. Lay the cardboard over the area like a blanket. Overlap the edges so weeds cannot sneak through the gaps. Think of it like laying shingles on a roof or placing a soft quilt over tired ground. Then water it well. This step matters. Dry cardboard will just sit there for a while, but wet cardboard starts becoming part of the soil system. It softens, it settles, it makes contact with the ground below, and that moisture tells the soil organisms food has arrived. After soaking the cardboard, cover it. You can use compost, you can use garden soil, you can use leaves, you can use straw, you can use wood chips, you can use a mix of whatever organic material you already have. The covering layer keeps the cardboard from drying out in the sun. It also makes the bed look neat, protects the soil, and creates even better conditions for decomposition. And then comes the hardest part for many gardeners. You wait. Not because nothing is happening, but because the most important work is happening quietly underneath. The microbes begin feeding. The worms begin exploring. The fungi begin spreading. The cardboard slowly becomes part of the earth. And over the next weeks and months, the soil starts to change. Now, if you want this process to work even faster, there is one simple trick. Add layers. Cardboard is rich in carbon, but soil life also needs nitrogen and softer materials to break things down efficiently. So instead of using only cardboard and mulch, you can create a simple soil lasagna. First, cardboard on the bottom. Then grass clippings, soft leaves, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, or other green materials. Then a layer of compost, soil, straw, or mulch on top. Moisten each layer as you go. You do not need to make it perfect. This is not a recipe where one wrong ingredient ruins everything. The goal is simply to combine carbon-rich material with softer, nitrogen-rich material and keep it damp. That combination wakes up the soil life. And when soil life wakes up, the garden changes faster than you might expect. Many people think a gentle method must be slow, but cardboard improves several things at once. First, it helps reduce weeds. Weeds need light. Cardboard blocks that light. Many weed seeds never get the chance to sprout. Existing weeds often weaken and die underneath the layer. That means less bending, less pulling, and less fighting with the same weeds every weekend. Second, cardboard helps hold moisture. Once it becomes soft, it acts a little like a sponge. It keeps the soil underneath from drying out too quickly. During hot weather, that can make a big difference. You may notice that your beds stay damp longer after watering. plants may look less stressed, and you may not need to water as often. For anyone who has trouble carrying watering cans or standing outside in the heat, that alone is a major benefit. Third, it improves soil structure. As cardboard breaks down, worms and microbes move through the area. They create little channels. Those channels allow air and water to move better. Roots love that. Compacted soil makes roots struggle. Softer, more open soil allows roots to grow deeper and wider, and deeper roots usually mean stronger plants. Fourth, it supports fungal networks. This part is easy to overlook because we do not usually see it, but fungi are incredibly important in healthy soil. Fungal threads can help connect plant roots to moisture and nutrients beyond their immediate reach. It is like an underground support system, and cardboard is a food source fungi can use very well. So with one simple material, you are helping moisture, weeds, structure, worms, microbes, fungi, and humus all at the same time. That is why this method can feel so powerful. Now let's talk about seasons, because cardboard can be useful almost any time of year. In spring, cardboard is excellent for preparing a new bed without digging. You can lay it down, wet it, cover it, and let spring rain help the process along. By the time you are ready to plant, the soil underneath has already started improving. In summer, the main thing is moisture. Warm weather helps decomposition, but the cardboard can dry out if it is not covered well. So in summer, use a thicker mulch layer on top. This keeps the bed cooler and helps hold water longer. In autumn, cardboard works beautifully with fallen leaves. This might be the easiest season of all. You already have leaves available. The weather is cooler, weed growth slows down, rain helps keep everything damp. Lay cardboard down, cover it with leaves, add a little compost or mulch if you have it, and let the bed rest through winter. By spring, the soil often feels noticeably better. And yes, even winter helps. The activity slows down, of course, but rain, snow, frost, and thawing all help soften the cardboard. The bed is quietly preparing itself while you are inside staying warm. You do not need a big garden for this method either. Cardboard can be useful in raised beds, small backyard plots, balcony planters, containers, and even narrow garden strips. In raised beds, you can place cardboard at the bottom before adding soil and compost. This helps block weeds from below and slowly feeds the bed as it breaks down. You can also use small pieces between layers when refreshing an older raised bed. In containers, use smaller pieces carefully. You do not want a thick, solid sheet blocking drainage, but small torn pieces mixed lower in the potting soil can help improve moisture retention and structure as they break down. For patio gardens or balcony gardens, this can be very helpful because containers dry out quickly. And because cardboard is lightweight, easy to cut, and easy to move, it is much friendlier than bags of amendments or heavy tools. Now, one concern people often bring up is termites. And that is a fair question. Does cardboard attract termites? The answer is, when used properly in garden beds, it is usually not the kind of environment termites prefer. Termites are more interested in dry, dense, woody material they can tunnel through, especially structural wood. Flat cardboard that has been soaked, pressed against moist soil, and covered with mulch begins to collapse and break down. It does not stay dry and solid. It becomes soft, weak, and much more useful to worms and microbes than to termites. That said, use common sense. Do not pile dry cardboard against your house foundation. Do not leave stacks of cardboard sitting next to wooden structures. In garden beds, keep it soaked, covered, and part of the soil system. Used that way, cardboard supports decomposition rather than creating a pest problem. Another question people ask is, can you plant into it? Yes, in many cases you can. If you are planting larger transplants, you can cut a hole through the cardboard, open the soil underneath, and place the plant directly into the ground. Then cover around it with compost or mulch.
As the cardboard softens, roots can often move through it or around it easily. For tiny seeds, it is usually better to plant into a layer of compost or soil on top. Seeds need good contact with fine soil, light moisture, and easy access to the surface. So for direct seeding, add enough soil or compost above the cardboard to give the seeds a proper place to grow. Over time, the cardboard underneath disappears into the bed.
And that is when the real reward begins. You start noticing small things first. The soil does not crack as badly. The weeds are easier to manage. The bed holds water longer. You see more worms. The soil smells richer. Plants look less stressed. Then, after a season or two, the changes become bigger. The ground becomes easier to work, roots go deeper, flower beds become fuller, vegetables grow more steadily, dry patches become less stubborn, clay becomes less heavy, sandy soil becomes less thirsty, and perhaps most importantly, the garden begins to feel less like a fight. That matters. Because gardening should not only be about production, it should also be about peace. It should be something that gives energy back, not something that only takes it away. The cardboard method invites a slower, wiser kind of gardening. You lay it down, you water it, you cover it, you let the soil life do its work. You are not trying to control every tiny detail. You are creating the conditions for life to return. And that is a different feeling. It feels calmer, it feels more natural. It feels like working with the garden instead of constantly correcting it. How often should you repeat this? That depends on your garden. Many gardeners do it once a year, often in autumn. That is a perfect time because leaves are available and the garden is slowing down. Others do it whenever they start a new bed. Some refresh only the problem areas, places where weeds keep coming back, where soil dries too quickly, or where the ground feels compacted. You do not have to do the whole garden at once. This is important. You can start with one small area. One bed, one corner, one patch near the tomatoes, one tired flower border. Do not turn it into a huge project. The beauty of this method is that it can fit your pace, and each layer you add builds on the last one. Year after year, the soil becomes more resilient, more forgiving, more alive. So the next time you receive a package, pause before you throw that cardboard away. Look at it differently. That box is not just trash. It may be future soil. Remove the tape, flatten it, save it for the garden. Lay it over tired ground. Wet it deeply. Cover it with mulch, leaves, compost, or soil. Then, step back. Nature knows what to do. The worms know what to do. The fungi know what to do. The microbes know what to do. Your job is simply to give them the right conditions. And in time, you may look at that same tired patch of ground and see something completely different. Darker soil, softer soil, more moisture, fewer weeds, healthier roots, stronger plants. All from something most people throw away. That is the quiet power of simple gardening. It reminds us that the best solutions are not always the most expensive. They are not always the newest. They are not always the ones in bright bags at the garden center. Sometimes the best solution is humble. A sheet of cardboard, a little water, a layer of mulch, and patience. So if your soil feels tired, do not give up on it. Give it cover. Give it food.